Hello everyone, yes, this is Mixing Wednesday. So what we're going to be speaking about today we're going to be speaking about something that I've been very interested in. Some people might find it's boring, but I find it really important, is Subtractive EQ. All I use Subtractive EQ for is taking away all of the gumph and all of the harshness and all of the noise, all of the stuff that I don't like in a source. Now, in terms of kind of subtracting EQ, there are tools that you can use in different EQs. Now, the most popular has to probably be a linear digital EQ, which is very surgical. Now, I use the Waves F6, but again, you've got the Fabfilter Pro-Q3, which is definitely the most popular that I've seen, and many have said it is the holy grail in terms of linear digital EQs, in terms of its clarity and its cleanliness. Okay, so we're going to be doing a shootout of them two, and then what I want to do is I want to actually know if analog EQs, how do they stack up in terms of a linear digital EQ, something that's very surgical versus to something that's very non-linear. So I'm going to be doing a shootout of two plugins that emulate probably the most revered and popular and most mythical analog kind of attenuating unit, which has to be the GML 8200. And that was made by George Massenburg. A lot of big guys have used it, and a lot of people say it's just magical. You just start taking stuff away, and whatever the non-linearities in the EQ curves do, it's just magical, harmonics, blah blah blah. There's a lot of stuff that goes on underneath the hood. So there are two plugins that emulate this unit, and you've got the Plugin Alliance Amek EQ200, which is loosely based. And then you've got the Acustica Green, which is a straight replica of that. Now, we all know Acustica Audio is probably the pioneers of replicating non-linearities in plugin form. So it'll be interesting to see how them two fare off as well. And then we'll do a shootout between the winner of each of those, and then actually come to a point where the whole point of this video is digital linear or non-linear analog. So first, right, let's look into the linear digital EQs. So in terms of the shootout, I wanted to make sure that I had this as bang on as physically possible. So I've stuck it in a plugin doctor. I'm going to let you guys see, and before we do the blind test and the shootout, I want you guys to see what a linear EQ looks like, okay? So look at the dips and look how it's just the dips that are being attenuated, okay? And actually proof that these two EQs are matched perfectly and the linearities are exactly matched. So as you can see, they're completely clean, no THD, no intermodulation distortion as well. So they're completely clean, set the exact same way, as fair as we can do it. So the one that sounds clearest, I'm going to choose that as the Fabfilter. That's what I'm going to do because everybody's telling me it's the clearest. So I'm going to take your guys' advice on it, right, and your guys' opinion. So the one that's clearest is going to be the Fabfilter when I type it in. So let's see how we go. Right, it's true, right? I have to say it, guys. I've been using Waves F6 up till now. Not after that, not after that. That's crazy. How could they be the exact same linearities? And the Fabfilter's clear. It is clear. I could hear it. It's quite easy, especially for me, right? You can hear it in the high end, but especially in the plucked notes, right? Seems like plucking the notes. It is clearer. Again, the Waves F6 in comparison just sounds a little bit more muffled and not as detailed. I just kind of feel like it's almost like with the Waves F6, it's like when you kind of got like crappy headphones on versus like maybe a pair of like Bose or Sennheisers or Audi's or stuff like that. And again, you've got that level of detail. That's kind of, to me, the difference that I'm hearing. And for all you guys, right, that are sitting there maybe going,
the perceptual listening, right? The Fabfilter is louder, right? And again, if the Fabfilter is louder, then you are going to perceive it to be better.
I was always a little bit tricky here because I obviously do these tests before, like obviously I do the videos. I wanted to see if I was just to take down the Fabfilter by 0.2 of a dB, so the waves are just slightly louder, would I still pick out the Fabfilter as the clearest? And guess what? I did. And know what? Here's the proof. So as you can see, the Fabfilter is 0.2 of a dB quieter. So the waves is slightly louder, but still quite easily can pick out the Fabfilter every time. So it shows you that there is something there. Now, the question you guys are going to be asking me is, Paul, why is there a difference? There is many reasons. In Plugin Doctor, I can only see certain things. In terms of what, if you were to go further, which kind of goes right over my head, there could be many things, okay? There could be internal oversampling. Possibly maybe the Fabfilter has internal oversampling times 2 times 4. Waves F6 possibly doesn't. Phase, so again, there are different phase options in the Fabfilter. There's other things, right? There's coding stuff, all the coding that goes into it, and downsampling. It could be, honestly, it could be various things, but I am not going to tell you what that is. But what we can end this one on is to say Fabfilter sounds better and is clearer, undoubtedly. So let's move on to the analog side, okay? So the analog side. So let's have a look at the Amek and let's have a look at the Acustica Green. Now, I've done the Amek first because I want to show you something, right? This is what Plugin Doctor is really great for. So let's have a look at the Amek and let's see what that looks like on Plugin Doctor. Now, wasn't that interesting? This is why I love Plugin Doctor. The Amek EQ is a linear EQ. I don't know what's analog about this unit. I don't know what makes it like an Amek or like a GML, which I think is why they say inspired. It's just a linear EQ. I could get the curves the exact same way. The only thing I will say is that in terms of the Q can only go to a certain tightness. You can get the with the F6 and the Fabfilter, you can make the Q very tight and very narrow. What you see there is that's the narrowest that the Amek can go. But yeah, it's completely linear. The only other thing that it has that the others don't have is the THD. So again, you put the THD on and it adds in a third order harmonic, and again THD is just controlling that. The volume gain I've got off because it just adds noise. I don't know why did people add noise into plugins? I don't know. I don't want noise. It's the whole reason that people made digital plugins. It's because everybody hated the noise. So the V gain I've got off because it just adds noise. That's all it does, is it adds noise. That's quite interesting, isn't it? So let's go on to the big boy, which is the Acustica Audio Green. What I'll do is I'll let you hear the differences between the Green and the Amek, and then what I'll do is after I've done the shootout, I'll show you why the green sounds so different. So let's go into the shootout. So in the blind tests, it sticks out like a sore thumb to me. I can hear it, right? It's there. The green sounds better. The green just has a little bit more kind of life for me in the highs, and again in the plucks. Again, I've got this little bit more clarity. Everything just sounds a little bit more cleaner. It's just sounds better to my ears. So why is there an audio difference in the green? This is why. Now let's go into Plugin Doctor and let's see exactly why there is such a difference. Right, okay, so that's the Waves F6, that's what we've been using, okay? And that there is the green. Now this is the closest that I could get this set. Now look at that. Look at the difference of that. And then look at the harmonics as well. Again, it's adding more harmonics. And again, look, it's at minus 18 input. And again, the harder you push the input, again, look, more harmonics. So again, it's got more character and it's got more warmth that I think actually adds to the overall sound as well. So again, like driving that input a little bit harder, again, more harmonics each time. And again, it's clean harmonics as well. Now let's have a look at the non-linear behaviour, okay? So this is by just changing the frequencies. Now again, look at that. See how, look, see how everything changes and it doesn't act the way that a linear EQ would. There's non-linearities in there. Again, look at the difference in the overall dips. See how much more is being taken away from the green, and it doesn't follow the linear pattern of the cues. So every single time you load in a different frequency, you change the cue, it's adding in a different impulse response, which is what you're seeing. Which are the reasons why it's not linear. It doesn't act like a linear processing unit. And again, look at that top end as well, okay? Look at that kind of dip that you have kind of in like the mid-range, and it's kind of soaring up, and then it goes up to kind of a point where again you're getting a nice little bit of air. It's just kind of boosting that air, maybe like, I can't remember, I think it was maybe like a dB, and maybe 1.5 dB, and it's just completely non-linear. I cannot get the linear curve. That's the closest I was able to get the linear curve of the Wave F6. That's what a non-linear EQ looks like. So we are now left with digital and analog, okay? So we know that with the Acustica is much more harmonic content, and again, the frequency responses are completely non-linear. It's given us way more than what we actually want, and it's not linear in the slightest, okay? So let's do analog versus digital. Now, what I kind of want to do very quickly, right, is just to do a very quick Amek versus Waves F6, because obviously the Amek is, everybody's been going on about the Amek this year, but obviously, because I know it's a linear EQ, and it's just got a bit of like added third harmonics in it, what I want to actually hear is there a difference between the F6 and the Amek? Is the coding better? Is there oversampling? Is there something in there better phase? Is there something different? Let's just see how I got on. Now, I did test after test after test after test. I did about 8-9 tests, and every single time I couldn't pick 2 in a row. I couldn't do it. I kept on going, and it was kind of potluck, which kind of tells me that the differences are really, 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 really inaudible. But the benefit of the Waves F6 over the Amek is the fact that it also can be used as a dynamic EQ, and you've got more scope in terms of your notch filtering, and also you've got obviously the graphics, the spectrum analyzer as well, and also, and probably the biggest one is the fact you've got that added frequency band. So again, Amek's got 5, the F6 has got 6. So if I was to pick F6 over Amek, it'd be F6 all day long. So we've kind of got that sorted. So let's move on to the big one. This is the one that you guys all want to hear. I know it is, right? I know it is. And I know I've kind of kept this dragging along because this is what you want to hear. So let's get straight into it, right? Let's get straight into it. We know how linear and how quality the Fabfilter is, and we also know the complete non-linearities in the harmonic content that's in the Acustica Green. Now, non-linear versus linear. Let's see how we go on. So, it's tight. It's tight. Here's the thing. I did 5 and I picked up the green 5 times. So I didn't do 5 shootouts because it's just boring. But I done 5 shootouts and I picked up the green every time. Conclusion is, again, it's completely subjective. Like, I love the both of them, okay? I love the both of them. Okay, we'll start off with the Fabfilter. Here is the benefits of using the Fabfilter. In terms of the added bonuses that you have, you've got phase, you've got natural phase, linear phase, and there's another one as well, I'm pretty sure. And again, you've got 24 frequency bands. 24 frequency bands. And you've also got a really, really cool, I really think it's really cool, where if you kind of leave the mouse for like a certain amount of time, it kind of freezes the frequencies analyzer, and you can see where all your peaks are in the audio. So again, you might maybe have a frequency that's just really poking out, and you can just see it and then take it down. It's a dynamic EQ, and the dynamic EQ is really easy to use as well. It just sounds very, very, very clear. So in terms of a practicality aspect, the Fabfilter wins every day of the week. So Paul, why wouldn't I use the Fabfilter? Here's the good points about the Acustica Green, is that in terms of audio quality, I think the non-linearity and the frequency response of the GML and the harmonics in there, I think the way that It reacts as very musical. That's what the Acustica Green gives you, is that frequency response is magic. The way that it adapts itself, the non-linearities of it, the harmonics, it's just magic. It does something that this can't do. It can't do it. The Fabfilter can't do it. But in the same way, that can't do what that does. The downsides to the Green is that it doesn't have any high pass and low pass filters. It's really annoying. I'm just like, why do you not have any high pass and low pass filters in? So Subtractive EQ, I would say if you're looking for a linear digital EQ, then Fabfilter all day long. If you're looking for a bit of analog magic, then Acustica Audio Green all day long. Which one's better? I can leave it up to you. They're close enough, man. They're close enough. I'd say if you've got the two of these, you can't go wrong. But like this video, this is very, very important. The more you like this video, the more YouTube will recommend this video. And again, hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already, because there's lots and lots and lots. I have a list as long as my arm, the bit of shootouts that I may be doing. So thank you very much, guys. As normal, hope you like this video. I'll see you again next time.